Welcome back to the Wilderness Podcast. How you doing, ladies and gentlemen? Oh man, yes indeed. Let me get some music playing real quick for you guys. You see, I'm back in the lab. I'm back in the office. Absolutely. Let me make sure MJ is showing, of course. Of course. Okay, so this is a very important show. It's being busy and not productive show. Okay, so we're gonna cover a lot of ground, but let me just play some music real quick. Let me get some let me get some tunes playing because y'all really need to hear what I gotta say on this show tonight. And I hope that you love my new microphone. It's so much more durable and I don't have to worry about so much shit. I mean, damn, it distracts. Not having the right equipment is a problem. It's a fucking problem. It would never make sense as to much as to how much a problem it caused, but god damn it is because it makes you uncomfortable and not being able to be a good steward of your show. So I tell you, people, invest in quality products so that you don't have to work so hard. And that's the truth. Let me turn this down a little bit because I want to really come across to you properly for what I have to say tonight. Understand me well. Dig this. All right, check me out. Show tonight, being busy and not productive show. This is the Wheelers Podcast, better known as the Wheelers Podcast, but I like the whip too. So we just gonna keep it right. So we got to keep the show right too. Anyway, we gonna get down and dirty to what's really going on. What's really going on? Okay, being busy and not productive. Some people don't understand what it takes to really put your best foot forward. But we're gonna get into that a little later. But I got some whip moments, but it's only three. It's only through tonight, and this show will not be very long. I don't want to hold you. I don't want to keep so much of your time, but I promise you, we're coming live. Yes, we are, as you can see. We still got to get back on with TikTok too, man. We got a kind of a tumultuous relationship. You understand? All right, so check it out. First whip moment tonight. Yeah. Ego is the pathway to evil when it comes to living. Why would you say that, Danny D? What's going on in your life? A lot, to be quite honest with you. I'm vulnerable because I'm not. if if that sounds perplexed, understand me and understand me well. Sometimes when you understand when people want you to be vulnerable, you don't have to accept that. It's a subscription. Vulnerability is actually a subscription. But you can really tell a person what they have done to you and explain to them how I'm not vulnerable. You're just fucked up. Okay? I'm not vulnerable. You just have an issue with telling the truth. I'm not vulnerable. You're just a fucking predator and a savage. You understand? You're not a real being. You don't understand empathy, sympathy. You don't understand what a people can actually go through. And you say, well, I didn't do it. I didn't do those things. Yes, fine, but your ancestors did, and you are willing to do it again. See, that's how some people get down in their mindsets, but then you have the developed class of people, like redheads. They understand the abuse in the white community like nobody else other than black people to say, oh, finally. So the stories of Kenneth McAlpin was true. He was a Negro. they did practice a lot of unscrupulous tactics to really destroy people that look different from them. That actually did happen over and over and over again. That's just like when I see Canelo Alvarez and Terrence Crawford. The symbolism is who was the most disciplined, who was the most learned. See, when you're a fighter, you're well learned. When you're a fighter, your offense and your defense is one and the same. You don't know how to differentiate one or two. You know how to turn your defense into offense immediately. But it also takes skills. It takes a know-how. It takes an actual repetition, like slavery, enslaving yourself to yourself. So maybe that's the magic of the Black American Indian, enslaving themselves into themselves, understanding themselves in order to solve their internal problems. Well, instead of, Black Americans have always been ahead mentally, physically, and spiritually, regardless of how you thinking we were a cotton pickers, but how about us being the growers, teaching you how to grow? Let's do a quick book share so you know. Okay? Let's do that real quick. Okay. Let's do that. All right. I want to do that. Yeah, I do. I want to do that shit. Okay. Yeah, I like doing shit like this. This is why, because I have to see. You understand? I think the reason why people love and hate this show is because I can actually show you tangibly what people want to be. Everybody want to be like Mike. Let me be quiet. Anyway, let me set this book aside real quick just to take time out to say how much I love, how many people subscribed to this show, watch my shorts, watch my long videos. Thank you so much. This is one. Watch this one. And I hope you hit that like button because I love it when you subscribe. I appreciate you. You fuel me to do more. You fuel me. And let me catch you on something else. Catch you up on something else. Do you understand? I don't have a funder. I don't have a financier. But what I do have is love of what I do because I fund my own show. So, my Cash App, you kind of know, like, you can help me out too. But you know what? That's okay. Because there's so many people that are going through so many hard times. There's so many people that has a podcast that are digital subscribers and they are starving artists. See, I just didn't happen to start out that way. This is a passion project. This is something that I love to do with me and you and my subscribers. So it's very, very interpersonal. So when I talk about mindset, when I talk about changing your aspects of how you even see yourself, I'm talking to you, and I'm also talking to me as myself. Vulnerability is not a weakness, it's a strength. Being a strong being is being transparent. Just like when I had the faulty mic, you know, and and I was trying to, and I was going in. I was really giving you all that I got. I was so passionate that night, and I just couldn't even fathom how you couldn't hear me. And I wanted you to hear me, and I think you did hear me subconsciously because you kept subscribing. That touched my heart. That touched my soul. That touched my being as a human, just as well as you are. A being, a human being. You know how powerful it is to have a long standing, outstanding history of your lexicon. What is yours actually, truly yours? In your blood, in your conceptual thinking. Most of y'all act like, yeah, he been drinking and he doing a show. That doesn't fuck up my brand. I'm a human being. You know how many people come on here and actually do a podcast and make a complete ass out themselves. Don't practice vulnerability. They practice stupidity. And so having a little, you know, wonderful evening that I shared with great people. What's wrong with just enjoying the essence of a great night? A wonderful reflection. When you reflect on things, you kind of rehash the beautiful moments and points, and you take that to be a pivotal point to move forward. But I got to get back to the book. I understand. I know you want me to teach too. I got you. I understand. Give me a break. I'm human. I told you. The human history is not 6,000 or 7,000 or 8,000 or 10,000 or 20,000 or 40. It's over 300 plus, meaning 300 plus thousand years old. That's how old our lexicon is. Let me explain how the prowess of a black, I say black because I don't mind it. People want, you want to be as far away from as black as you can. No. You don't understand the meaning of black. There was a Black Law Dictionary that was built upon perpetuating black in place of what was actually blanco white. Meaning the children, they like to call them the children of the Neanderthals or the beasts, and that's unfortunately and fortunately true. It depends on how you want to view it. Okay. See, what they display in Marvel comics and in DC comics, they display this inter being. We have two sides to us. Okay. So when you're dealing with the energy and the physical, it's very perplexing. I will not get into those specific details, but let's just say everything is about mindset, perhaps. Now, so those filaments, those physical giant elements started washing out, dying naturally, and the orders of humanity ordered those oligarchs, because the oligarchs at one time were the giants physically. Okay, they run. They could pick people up and toss them into the woods. Ain't that what the Incredible Hulk does, and what Let me show you how this really is not a myth and actually is true. Let's just do that real quick because I think this is very important and pivotal. Give me a minute. That's why I love this mic. Oh, it helps me be more focused on you and not how I'm orchestrating an apparatus. So thank you so much. I appreciate you. So let me get to the work that I need to do for you. All right. We all have audiences, but shout out to the champion to Kamaru Aha again because I have these same elements built within the constructions of my DNA and who I am. Y'all know I'm a big guy, 6'2", 200 pounds, and I'm actually 185 pounds. If I work about 4 hours a day in the yard, man, I can lose 10 pounds with water weight. I drink my smoothies in the morning. I don't eat a whole lot of meat. But if I pound on a big breakfast, but what if I wanted to challenge myself and say all I need is nutrients? Let me get back to the giant book. I'm sorry, guys. I got the other one to share with you too. Be back in a tick. Give me a second. Let me find it real quick. I should be home. Here it is. No, that wasn't. Find it. All right. It could be right up here. I really did pull that book out specifically to show about some things are not myths. They are created as myths to be somewhat of a I'll keep using this reference right here because they say mound builders, and then you got to understand techniques and the ways of being, like the pygmy. The pygmy came from Africa to the Americas to learn, and the Americas was big people. Indians were big people. Mound builders were big people, and to understand how they were able to move in such a, I would say, let's be strategic here. I used to solve algebra problems in my head as a child, and they didn't like that. They didn't like me solving problems in my head and being, and this is not just a me personal story. I've had good relationship with friends of mine that said, Danny, that didn't just happen to you, my brother. They indoctrinated me too. I got a bad grade for solving problems in my head and not putting them on paper. So they would ask, well, how did you see this? How you Danny, you didn't use a formula? I don't need a formula. So what's 8 times 7? 56. Oh, sorry. 8 times 8, 64. So they put me under pressure, and I still, and they was like, wow, oh, he's one of them. Oh, the Olmecs. Oh, the Mayans. Oh, the Aztecs. They got papers on me. When I was a child, my mother got us tested. All of our children were, highly intelligent. She knew she was highly intelligent, so that gave her she knew all of her kids were pretty much geniuses. So one thing she wanted was her logic. Most American black copper color, copper tone beings. If you if you a few years ago when people started to get motivated, like probably Top Cat in 1900s. But yeah, 1980s. See, this is a repeat. See, I grew up on Thundercats, and I used to relate to Panther, and I always wanted to be Lionel. And then my birthday, and I'm a Leo, and then I was Lionel and Thundercats and shit like that. And so I'm like, what they get is like easy. I feel like it's here. I felt like it was here. I felt like it was here. And then the stories that my father told me about Daddy Will. I'm talking about this all has to do with the show tonight. All has to do with being busy. Always being busy trying to be something else other than you. You got so many. I mean, my page gets full of 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 people from other nations. Y'all thought I was just gonna say the African nation. No, no, no. European nations, African nations. Everybody knows the story of the indigenous Black Americans and it being an egalitarian Atlantic society because they write about it, right? They write about it all the time. Yeah, yeah, but I was. This is the reason why I go back to the mound builders. I'm getting a hard copy coming in, but you talk about what I know that I feel within the inception of myself. DNA. When you can walk outside on your land and touch your feet, when your feet recharge yourself and you feel the earth with the celestial body that it is, and when you know what you know about yourself, that's when I'm a purchaser of what you call information, just information. So before we even get into that, I'm gonna show you how I verify information that when I read, because sometimes when you walk through history, history doesn't sound like today because it's not today. It's not in today's presence of form. You have to put yourself back in those specific times in order to understand how people thought. So verbiage changed, time changed. So you have to find these origins. Give me a minute. And to find the origins of time. I'm sorry, I'm not gonna edit that either. You have to find the origins of time and words with this. Etymology dictionary, okay? Time and origin. Ooh, just another date, another time, okay? Another date, another time. I hope you subscribe. I hope you like. I hope you're subscribing. I hope you're learning. I hope you're understanding that this is truly and indeed an experience. That's why I'll be up at almost 2 o'clock in the morning on a Saturday after the overlay day. Okay? I ain't got no problem, but it's an overlay day. It really is. What I'm trying to explain to you is what the Americans, this is why I'm doing this on this overlay day, and I'm gonna go as long as I want to go tonight, because I have to do this. The universe, first of all, the gods, Anu and Nu. We all up on the instructions and constructions, and we have to be rooted properly under those instructions and constructions from who actually created us. But some of us are extremely confused of roots. They not rooted properly. So let me explain to you how people should understand and know the construction of their roots and how they should understand their roots are the beginning. You want to know the difference between an Israelite and a Cometian? One was born first, and the other had a vengeance for his brother, which is why he would create such a horrible this spellment between us two, because he wanted to be born first. And that born first is almost like little man complex. Big man want to be a little man, and big man play a little man part. Don't work that way. Big man, little man. Were you talking about physical size, or are you talking about mind? There's a difference. So a lot of times, big man become the jock, the boxer, the big boy, one you shouldn't play with, you shouldn't deal with because he big. But what if the little man got the stronger strategic method? Simple method. Wow, right? Let me check my settings because it's so smooth tonight. I mean, I'm rolling, right? Very smooth, very smooth, very smooth. I'm checking my audio and everything, man. Oh my God, I'm loving this shit. Hey, don't tell me that a tool don't make a difference. A tool makes a difference because you don't have to feel insecure about me shifting and shaping and doing shit like that. When I'm rapping with you, I can get more fluid with getting information that I need to give to you. More acceptable, right? I'm sure it is. So let's get to this. Because I like my shows to be fluid and full of information that you should want to learn. Because it's here to learn, and I have it. I invest time, money, and energy into being not just correct or right, but learning who I am from a personal perspective. So be careful when you try to attack me on the things that I come at you on or I discuss, because maybe I'm just telling you the truth and you may have some similarities that you may need to look into fighting me against. That shit resonate better for you other than me being combative with you. Okay. So anyway, I can pick any page, how I want to pick a page because I can read. You know how people shuffle cards? I shuffle pages. Because the interpretation level on this side of the game is in the bosom of truth. Unlike some of you, which you would prefer to perpetuate the lie than to give props or flowers to a person that gives you the truth. Your choice, your means. I have nothing to do with how you want to live your life, but hey, how about I like to live my life in truth and not other things. Let me get to my work, okay? I hope you're listening. I hope you're learning. I hope you understand that I'm never in a position to want to mislead you. My mindset allows me to perpetuate the truth to you and not perpetuate a lie. When you prefer to be perpetuated by the truth than a lie, I thought so. So thank you for tuning in. So let's get to some education, please. Ed, UK. Oh, Lord. I'm going to have to get that etymology dictionary, but I promise you, I want to get to this. So let me get to it. Oh, so ancient Egyptian maize. So Egypt was here first. Yeah, Ty Mary. Yeah. Don't you read from right to left? Words go hemisphere left to right. You read from left to right. You don't read from right. On this screen, you read from right to left. It's reverse. But if I reverse the camera, you get my point. Well, not all cultures. In the Japanese cultures or in the Chinese and Asiatic and Asian cultures, they still identify with this. Check it out. Before I start reading, I'm gonna let y'all listen to this music real quick, and I want you to fix your mind and fixate your mind on where I'm about to go with you. So I'm gonna turn the camera off for a second because I gotta take care of my business real quick before I start reading. Yeah, we here now. Everything else is all news. You did. Thank you. I'll be right back. Don't go nowhere. Just listen to the little tune. Let me turn it up a little bit for you. Hold on. I don't know if it's loud enough for you, but it's dope. It's cool. Good mental music. You know what I'm saying? Good mind music. All right, I'll be back. Give me a second. Be right back. All right, I'm back. Don't just go on in the garage. Yeah, like I always do. We're gonna get back to some book learning. Let me turn it down. Okay, I'm back. Shit. All right. All right, I'm back. All right, here we go. Okay. Let's get back to some real good stuff. If you're with me. Yeah, I'm back. Yeah, if you're with me, I'm back. I'm back. All right, here we go. And this is just what I wanted to get into. Old world. You know, the faces of the old world, ancient Egyptian maids, and the faces of the old world travelers in native arts. And I also want to get into seed bags, corn cobs, and planting rituals. Hold on, we got to get a little bit more intricate than that. We got to go a little further into how these things come into conception. So we have to understand how we can never be caught in specific point in times, because that's practicing cognitive dissonance. Did you ever understand those type of things? I bet you didn't. See, all right, let's get into the surprising realism of New Kingdom maize. Doesn't that sound egalitarian? Okay, let's go a little further. Not forward but backwards, because you're not meeting me there, and I don't think you really You're not understanding. Because you're not even subscribing. Because you think I'm just reading a normal book. I'll show it in a minute, but let me explain to you what America actually is. America is the old world of antiquity. See, now is the time to make the antique technique applicable. Antique techniques like telling the truth, being relevant and applicable to not a flagrant way of living your life. Like some people lie and love tabloids and shit that like shit on top of shit. And that's how they live their life because it makes them feel better. At least I don't do that shit. I'm sure you do, but what kind of shit you do? You lie on other people. You believe even the fact that other people's triumphs and tales are yours because that's what they do in propaganda and that's what they do in America. Ain't that what they do in America? In America, but Americans are still here. So who are Americans? Americans. Hold on, let me explain. If you allow me to get to this book, I'll explain to you, and I'll show you the title of it again. Look. Ancient Egyptian Maze. Very thorough person that wrote this book, absolutely. You see his name? Gunnar Thompson. Oh yeah, okay, all right. But Charles C. Mann in 2005, the best-selling Charles C. Mann, New Revelation of the America Before Columbus, 2005, page 224, credits Columbus with bringing the first maze across the ocean since he had been in his colleagues regarding Columbian achievements in his established facts. He didn't bother naming the source for this belief. I told you, belief is a gift of a lie. So understand, when everybody tell you to believe in something, it's a fucking lie. They're asking you to subscribe to their bullshit. That's what belief is. But when you deal with belief in lies, it's like alcohol with a page. It destroys the words. But is that true if I'm drinking alcohol and I'm keeping it away from the page? See, that's people that make mistakes and say dumb shit because they are not balanced in their life and understanding. So they be so befuddled by the words. See, when these conferences was had back in the day, they just couldn't understand how what you would call a Negro or the Negro. I mean, it doesn't even make sense. What they should call, there was the indigenous, the Indian, the Indian. The indigenous one is why you would create the word name Indian, because the indigenous people make everything go globally. So understand when I tell you the American now has awoken to know who he is and what she is. My wife know who she is. I know who I am. You should appreciate your indigenous lands and reclaim your ingenuity globally. As that's the one thing that Donald Trump knows about this country. That's the hidden secret. That's what y'all don't know that he know. That's why he the president and not Kamala. Understand why Kamala, if Kamala was the president, she would have done what Joe Biden did. Let's take every step in the goddamn world to destroy if these people, they are knowing, they're catching on. They're knowing who they are. They know why the world saw them as the beacon and light of the world, and why we have an overlay culture that claims that same light that I have always been that light specifically, which is why everybody follows the indigenous class here. And I think most people can't reach that verdict because they don't see well. They don't understand why you follow us. while we follow no one. Why enslavement was really, it really did happen. But it didn't happen to Africans. It didn't happen to the people that came off the boats. It happened to the indigenous class. Again, a fallacy that's told. So the reason why Jasmine Crockett gets the Jasmine Crockett's of the world and the people that always we brought us in all boats and they enslaved us bad. Do you understand why Black History and all this fucking I guarantee you HBCUs gonna change their fucking names and everything else because that's a lie. That's that's not the indigenous American history. HBCUs don't teach indigenous American history. We're overlooked, we're crossed out, and we're called. You have a wonderful story from a personal perspective, and maybe people should know about who you are. You want to highlight me, but not highlight everybody that's like me, which is all of you. Some of you whites. People don't understand the intricate cultures of America between blacks and whites and Siberians and Jews, which are Khazarians, which are world wanderers, which they say we got these bastards enslaved and in the sun, just we were forgetting everything. We said, no, we didn't forget everything. We just don't want to fight you the way you fight. You don't fight fair. You tell lies. You speak of things that are not true. You distort history, time, and aspects. And we just said we'll just keep our mouth closed. And the whole world is on notice. And this is the fear that the whole world knows that Black Americans ain't saying shit. I'm gonna let you in on why we're not saying shit. The whole world has capitulated against us. The whole world has told us we were not African, not American, not nothing. We just a nothing motherfucker. Just a dirty nothing. Nothing. That's the world. How did Asians treat us? How did these new people, these biracial children of ours, they the new biracial children because they didn't understand. They didn't understand the light complected, the European that knew us very well. So they said, hey, if you got a lighter complexion, you might want to side with us because we beat their ass so bad they don't know who they is, but they set you up for a trick because they was like, the Europeans, they're not a monolith. All of them don't think the same either. Get it? Do you understand what a spectrum is? A spectrum, light in a spectrum weaves both ways. That means everybody doesn't get the same spectrum of light. Even though they can see it, that's not their focus. So if that's not their focus, they can't receive total message. But guess what? They may be perceptive. So in America, it was the spectrum perspective. Meaning, guess what? Hold on, let me move my camera. That means all whites was not destructive, hateful, despicable, and awful creatures of the night. What it did mean was some blue bloods of Kenneth McAlpin Excuse me, that was a big burp. And I'm not editing shit. Fuck you. Motherfuckers want me to edit because I burp and I'm authentic. That's pathetic. You could have edited that. Fuck off, man. Yeah. I do what the fuck I want. This is my podcast, okay? Authenticity wins the game every time. That's why I'm gonna go back and read this book. And but I got because I didn't lose focus either. It just the Realist podcast is one of them podcasts that's very detailed. And when I feel like being in a tale that I want to be detailed, that's what the fuck I'm doing. Understand? Hate all you want to. You can't deny facts and truth. If you ever check my commentary, which people subscribe a lot, they subscribe a lot, but I want you to like a lot too. I want you to put yourself out and say, I like it. I want you to comment. I appreciate those things if it's intelligent, if it has to do with accuracy or references on top of references that actually get us somewhere without bullshitting. I don't like bullshitting, and I think y'all can understand how I do not like that, because I like people to live the next day waking up better than they lived before. I gotta keep this book in my hand because I don't want to sit down anymore, because I'm gonna get to my point. But there's so many intermingling points that has to be made because people are so unlearned. Do you understand? At some point in time, I may get challenged from my employer. I may be challenged as if I am some type of criminal for being knowledgeable. You think people that don't tell this truth don't put their life and their well-being out on the line for telling a so-called dominant society your dominance has never ever been? It was the way you was orchestrating. But they also, if you take the story of a Jerry Buss and a Magic Johnson, well, if we have a likeness, then we could share a likeness. Magic Johnson was the poster child for AIDS. I think Magic Johnson is a fucking icon of persistence, durability, proper judgment, and a willfulness to achieve, win, and never lose. That's the only perception I have of Magic Johnson, even though, you know, Magic Johnson, the man has owned every way of being who he wanted to be, even though he got a son that's extremely eccentric that I personally as a man would not want as a son, but that's me as a man, not Magic Johnson. Magic Johnson is an icon, a legend, and nothing can ever fall short of that. I said, I don't even have a son. So by me saying I don't want to have a son doesn't mean a fucking nothing, does it? Just like your words, when you want your opinions to matter when you have no justification of your opinion to matter. That's fucking sad. When you want to be relevant that bad, that's psychosis. That's not media. That's propaganda. You want to exploit people and make them something that they're just absolutely not. Just like if I, like the way I try to, present myself well and speak appropriately when I'm addressing myself addressing my people in a certain environment. This is different from my garage. Just that simple. Same house. when I go in the garage, I be jacking, dancing my motherfucking ass off, acting like I want to act, doing what the fuck I want to do. And then they'll differentiate the garage from the work studio. It's a psychosis, people. It's called a sickness that should be in DSM, and people should be. We should open up a lot of mental institutions because there are a lot of people in Congress that were mentally sick before they got in Congress, and they are even more mentally sick now. So I advise us to understand, like, if you look at real simple shit like birthright citizenship. Okay, I'm an original American. I don't have to cosplay to be anybody, and I'm also not African. If they say I have African blood, I would tell them I'm European. Well, where do you think you come from? So if I have African blood, I would say specifically where. They would say, well, most Black Americans got 40% Nigerian. So do I. Yeah, the whole world share DNA. But let me ask you a question that you have never thought about. What if the Black American DNA that you see of indigenous Black Americans like me, they come from here? They got my DNA. I don't have theirs. That's going to cost me some subscribers, and people be like, oh, he's talking bullshit. But let me explain. This is where I have to get truthful on y'all asses, okay? Oh, I marked that page. Okay, here we go. And I know I read some, but not enough. Not enough, because I think you need to understand. Ancient Egyptian maize, we call it corn, but it's really maize. Okay. New Kingdom maize cob, 1550 BC, 1064 BC. That's before the Common Era. Okay. All right. Let's tune in, people. Let's get edutained. All right. Here we go. As was true in the Old Kingdom period, pharaohs and the wealthy ate immature sweet corn as a fruit. Field corn that was fed to the masses was not portrayed in the royal art because it was regarded as unclean. Indeed, in typical contained flavoring of cow flops, human and animal sweet sand, and stone chips. The maize, earth, in Nakeftoon mural above, particularly realistic. The camels are very distinct, and the husk leaves are just about right for a cob of golden sweet corn. The cob is about as long as a prince's hand, with a slightly smaller than a mature ear of modern corn. Within a century of Hatshepsut's departure, tomb art showing the maize ear was generally styled. The corn still represents the corn of Osiris or Asar, but it didn't look very much like real maize. Wow, so you remember when Aset put the golden phallus, the golden phallus, was it perhaps a spiritual We'll call it Tahuti Fellas, because he helped us to bring Heru into the world, along with the Tebet. All of these are atrocious horror stories of how everything went wrong from inception, how things would be split, and how there would be a demon that would do everything. So perhaps the immaculate overrun of conceptions on the planet is flooding the universe where we have to really come to perhaps the consummation of true ideological thoughts or just ideals of destruction. Yo, it's gonna be a part two of this show. You know it is. But I'm gonna let you have this tonight because I want you to dissect this. America is the old world. Again, shout out to Kamaru. Aha. This man put out my whole biological. Hold on, let me get you right. Etymology. Showing them put everything on the line. Hey, I give shots to shout outs to another Amaruka. Yo, shout outs to Kamaru Aha, shout outs to American Indians, shout out to Top Cats out there doing this thing. Shout out to Tariq Nashi FBAs. You know I'm still with you. I'm you too. Don't get me wrong, I'm just the first. I'm the epitome of the inception of how you call yourself FBA because I'm that fertile ground of copper color complexion that gave you your complexion. So, FBA, I'm before you, I'm with you, I love you, and I am your daddy. Understand that? I'm your daddy. FBA, we love you. You are our children. You're FBA, you the American Indian child. And for you realizing that you child are indigenous too. I love you. You my child, you my baby. I'm gonna protect you first. You know why? Because that red man didn't protect me. That red man said, you a lowlife. That red man, no, he came from Siberia, blended with me early and said, this what you do to them. So you see how the inceptions of that, all that, I'm not black. I'm not black. What the The whole world was melanated dark. You may not like the word black, but if you have melanin in your skin, that word may seem empty to you, but that was not ever applicable to shiny black. Shiny. The inception of what black is actually supposed to be. The thing that shines generates the most energy and color specifically. But if you want to cool it off and say, I'm not black, because you think white is a complexion too, because they created it to be. But how about you don't address the fact that white, blanco, or the fact that the sun in the universe has no need for pale complected people for you to ever to say dark melanin black is not. It is nothing. Again, those are Moorish, foolish, despicable, huguenot, nasty, evil. I don't like my melanin complexion or darkness. I prefer a light melanoid complexion so that I'm more digestible, and I can finally claim being black and light. That's the problem with the complexion of a light, melanated, dark, accepting person. You want to carve out a way for you not to accept the light dark. Darkness is the light. Mind you. Global, indigenous, universal, godly minded people understanding the pantheon of God. So are the light melanated people that understand race is a creation, it's about mindset. That's your liberation. I know that hurts some of you evil skin folk that ain't my kinfolk. I take Rachel Dollars all over. More than half of you global motherfuckers. Because I appreciate mindset strength, not melanin strength. One can activate the other. We need ones and zeros. Some of y'all like being Kong, but don't understand your peons. But if you didn't have a peon, how could you be a Kong? If you didn't have evil, how could you understand good? But you equate that with the way a person looks both ways. And you can't deny that shit. You're all fucking racist. We created it. You understand? So what you should do is understand who you are, where you come from, your lineage, be proud. And perhaps you can make a change somehow, some way, somewhere. Maybe that somewhere is where you come from. That's suitable. Because when you got the people that have carried all the weight of the world and have done everything to be themselves, that were ridiculed, misused, abused, misclassified, killed on paper genocide. Some of us still believe we from Africa. I love you, but it's just not true. As a matter of fact, some of you Africans out there are American. Where do you think you get your hate from? Why do you give us up? Well, we didn't give you up. You was the most triumphant, showing them people how to be triumphant. Your hate, maybe because you hate yourself, because you might need to accept the fact that you might be an Amarucan. Switch your mindset. Understand you're thinking differently. This is Danny D on the Wilderness Podcast. We signing out tonight? No, wait, fuck that, not yet. That was just one whip moment. We gonna finish this. We gonna finish this shit. Oh yeah, we gonna finish this. Oh yes, we will. Let me get to the next whip moment. We're gonna be quick. Some bubbles are going to have to be busted. Yeah. Shout out to Teffin Gross. Shout out to my brother Teffin. We will be doing a show. Oh yeah. But some people's bubbles just have to be busted. Maybe you got more American in than you want to admit from your daddy, your influential God, the people that you put above everything else, but you just don't want to admit it. You don't want to see me for who I am because I'm gracious, nice. I will serve you in my house. I will give you food. I will give you the best that I got until it's gone. But a grateful person does what? Replaces the beings that they have extracted. They couldn't feel good as a being if they didn't do so. That's what makes a being a good being. You don't have been themselves. So, understand exchanges, understanding knowledge. Every time you do anything, you show who you are. I promise you, and you should understand and know that shit for real. This is July the 5th. The day of independence should be your will, not a nation's. Nations only contribute to bad contribution. You see how America are going through tribulations because of bad contributions. So let's see what the big beautiful bill do. Because I don't trust neither party. But I know I am a taxpaying citizen. I know I have been here in America before any being on this fucking planet. My people have been there over 130,000 plus. So when this country that never was really incepted, it was hijacked in 1776 simply because of two reasons. My people were already here and we were attacked. And that war never stopped. Does it have to still be a war? Can we still get along? But can you accept the fact that I was the first? Can you stop telling your ancestral, prehistoric, premature, dilapidated lies? Let's just get over that shit. It's fucking over. It's done. Dilapidated prehistoric lies. Oh, when you paint hands, I mean, we can see through all your shit, Europeans. I mean, it's fucking terrible. Too much is going on, and we have too much intellectual, ancestral knowledge now. Even oral traditions. Y'all taught to say that oral traditions wasn't shit. Oral traditions are everything we got. You were the liars. Your books are the liars. And even the people that look like you told you were liars. So therefore, there are no such thing as Europeans. We're all different. That's all. That's the show tonight. There's no such thing as a European. There's no such thing as an African. There's no such thing as you people that we gave you your name. I spoke English before the Europeans said it was English. You had no rules, rights, or nothing to even create a word when you grunt and snort. This is American language. American. Indigenous slang. Why do you think hip hop had such a run? And you got a Latino like Fat Joe, Fuck Dumb Joe, that you like little kids and look. See, it makes sense that you people like little people, little children, because you never grew up, so you have to do your best to destroy your little children so that they don't like goodness of and greatness of indigenous of the health of all cultures of the whole what planet. We were the highest of the egalitarians. You never liked the egalitarian. You liked the dominance, control, and rule. I say again, I'm an inky baby. I like self-will, love, self-determination, and the appreciation of the whole human lexicon. I will continue to share, read books like the Black Mr. Rogers of this motherfucker because some people have a tendency to have a hankering for lying about every fucking thing. So I'll just tell you the truth and let the chips fall where they may. But hey, that's the show tonight for real. This is Will's podcast. Love you so much. Thank you for tuning in. We love you. Yeah, we really do love you because we're going to tell you the truth and we don't give a real fuck. So anyway, let's get to the favorite part of my show. Yeah, this is the Will's podcast and the Will is your. I always keep it cool, my people. I'll be back tomorrow. Okay. Not this late. I gotta get some sleep so that I can come back fresh. You dig? All right. Later, y'all. Peace. Catch you.